Flowers are beautiful. They have a special quality. They touch people's hearts. People love flowers all over the world. People use flowers to decorate their houses or to give to their loved ones. People buy flowers to celebrate a special event, like birthdays, religious ceremonies, or to express their condolences when a loved one has passed away. Giving a bouquet of flowers is always an emotional gesture. Flower producers and traders embrace the sentimental and pure image which flowers have. It is a great selling point. Consumers are stimulated to buy flowers on special occasions, like Mother's Day and Valentine's. What consumers often do not realize is what lies behind these beautiful flowers. How they are produced, where they come from, and who grows them. Consumers will generally not expect such a romantic product could be produced under harsh conditions. Most likely, many consumers will be shocked to learn about the story behind flower production. Flower production and trade is big business. Worldwide, hundreds of thousands of people work in the floricultural industry. The floricultural industry consists of cut flowers, pot plants, and foliage. In countries like the Netherlands, Italy, Kenya, Tanzania, Colombia, and Ecuador, it is a well-established industry. In others, such as Ethiopia and China, it is a fast-growing and expanding business. The flower industry provides many jobs, especially for women. Worldwide, flowers are produced and selected with great care. Similar care should be given to the workers in the sector and to the environment affected by the industry. To achieve this objective, NGOs and trade unions have drawn up an international code of conduct for the production of cut flowers. This film presents the code's 10 principles. These 10 principles form the basis of humane and environmentally friendly production of flowers. The first principle is freedom of association and collective bargaining. Worldwide, most producers do respect trade unions. Unfortunately, cases of workers who became union members and who were subsequently severely discriminated against have also been reported. It is very important that workers in the flower industry have the option to join a trade union. When workers join a union, they should not be afraid of any negative consequences or even getting fired. Trade unions try to protect workers from abuse by employers. Every trade union's priority is good working conditions for the workers. Therefore, it is very important that workers have the right to choose to become members of a trade union and to fight for good working conditions collectively.
Our money. We want our money back. We want our money. Yeah, this is our right.
The second principle is equality of treatment. Theoretically, workers have the right to equal treatment and equal pay for equal work. But, as most of us know, discrimination is still taking place at all kinds of levels. Workers discriminate their colleagues. Employers discriminate workers because of their cultural or ethnic origin. Special job trainings are open for just a couple of people, and so forth.
I have been working for about 9 years in a flower farm as an engineer. During this time, I experienced some kind of discrimination. Two examples of these are one about women. They are not hired because pregnancy costs a lot of money to the company. And another is about engineers. A 4-inch engineer can earn 10 times more than a local engineer.
In order to ensure equality, it is important that all workers earn the same amount of money for the same work. The equality of treatment of women needs special attention. The third principle is living wages. Every family needs money to make ends meet. Therefore, it is important that a fair wage is paid. With this fair wage, also called living wage, a worker should be able to cover the basic expenses for his or her family. Employers and workers often have different interests, especially regarding the level of wages. Employers want to cut costs. Workers, on the other hand, often think that their salary is too low. Therefore, governments and in some countries trade unions and employers' organizations sometimes decide what is to be considered a minimum wage. The way in which a salary is calculated should be clear and transparent to the workers. The same goes for social benefits, such as pension schemes and medical insurance. Workers should receive a salary and payslip at regular intervals. The fourth principle is working hours. International agreements state that 48 hours per week is the maximum for a normal, healthy working week. Any time above this 48 hours per week is considered to be overtime. This is especially so in view of the fact that many workers have additional work to do after they leave the farm, such as looking after the family, cleaning the house, repairing clothes, and cooking a meal.
En las temporadas altas, como es el día de San Valentín.
During the high seasons like Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, we have to work from 1 at night until 4 in the afternoon. Besides that, all our housework has to be done after work.
Some companies pay per cut flower. Therefore, workers often work faster and longer than is healthy for them. Working excessive hours or working under pressure could result in all sorts of physical and mental problems. Therefore, in order for workers to get the necessary rest, 1 day off per week and regular holidays are important. Working overtime should be voluntary. An employer has to ask a worker if he or she wants to work past normal working hours. Overtime cannot exceed 12 hours per week or be done on a regular basis. Furthermore, overtime should always be compensated at a premium rate. The fifth principle is health and safety. It is tiring and dangerous to work in a disorderly workspace. It is also tiring and dangerous to constantly be looking out for one's own safety. A clean, nice and safe working environment is very important for the well-being of workers. Farms need to provide free and appropriate protective clothing and equipment that complies with internationally recognized health and safety standards. Facilities like changing rooms, showers, and toilets should be sufficient, clean, and comfortable. All workers have the right to regular medical checkups free of charge. It should be clear to workers what to do in case of an emergency, where the fire exits are, and where the first aid box is located. The sixth principle is pesticides and chemicals. Unfortunately, the production of flowers requires the use of pesticides and other chemicals. Some producers are working hard to reduce pesticide and fertilizer usage by implementing other techniques and methods.
We are one of the first companies that produce flowers in an organic way. We don't use chemicals and everything is organic.
Nevertheless, many dangerous pesticides are still used. It is important for workers to know that pesticides are dangerous. Wearing protective clothes might not always be comfortable, but it is very important for the worker's health. Direct exposure can have immediate consequences such as dizziness, rashes, vomiting, and poisoning. Exposure to potential toxins over an extended period of time is just as dangerous. It can take years before the toxic character of pesticides and chemicals are noticed. Pesticides and chemicals can lead to skin and lung disease, paralyzed limbs, sterilization or infertility, and even result in death. Pesticides should be handled with care by well-trained persons. Good protective clothes and spraying instructions are very important. Cleaning the spraying suits and equipment deserves special attention and should be done at a specially designated place and never be done off the farm. Pesticide containers should be disposed of in a safe manner and always be punctured so that the containers cannot be used for any other purposes. Workers should not take plastic sheets from the greenhouses home because that plastic is also contaminated and therefore a threat to the health of their families. The seventh principle is security of employment. Employers tend to look for workers who cost less, who may be easily encouraged to work harder and longer, and who may be easily fired.
A lot of youths are getting out of school and they cannot get employment. So growers have taken advantage of the unemployment cases in this country. Workers within the industry have no job security because once at more at the gate, they want to come in.
This tendency is found in many countries and is a real threat to the existence of permanent jobs. Furthermore, mechanization in the industry creates uncertainty among workers. All workers should get a clear written labor contract containing their rights and responsibilities. All workers, regardless of whether they are permanent or casual, have the same labor rights. Should a dispute occur between a worker and an employer, the trade union could be called in. A clear, written contract helps a worker but also an employer to claim rights and responsibilities. It is important to strive for as many stable and permanent jobs as possible so that workers are assured of an income, today as well as tomorrow. The eighth principle is protection of the environment. Everybody needs clean air, water and soil. A clean environment is in the interest of us all. Governments and local communities around flower farms expect farms to respect the environment.
Soy una mujer que he trabajado 5 años en la plantación.
I have worked for 5 years in a flower farm. It affects our environment, health and other aspects of the community. This is the only way for us to survive.
Any kind of pollution around the flower plantation should be reduced in order to protect people, flora and fauna, especially when pesticides and chemicals are used. It is not uncommon for the level of groundwater to drop in those regions where flower farms are settling, as flower farms use a lot of water. Farms should recycle their waste and carry out their waste disposal in an environmentally friendly way.
Flower companies use a lot of plastic that needs to be renewed every 3 years. We send this plastic to a company which recycles it into these plastic buckets. Here we put in the flowers, water and the garbage.
Workers can contribute to avoiding environmental problems by being aware of the environmental behavior of the farm. Pollution in any form should be reported. The 9th principle is no child labour. At present, the problem of child labour is less severe than it was some years ago. Nevertheless, it is important to stress that no children should work or even be on a farm. Children may be severely harmed when working at a young age. Child labour can affect the physical, mental and moral development of a child. A flower farm, with its pesticides and chemicals, is considered to be a dangerous place, no place for children. Children should be at school, in a daycare centre, in the local community, or playing at home, but never in a working place.
This primary school, where workers bring their children for education. The school is supported by the government and our company and some other flower companies. As you can see, the children are on their lunch break now and playing outside.
Furthermore, young workers from the age of 15 to 18 should not work at night nor in hazardous conditions. In addition, young workers are entitled to all the rights enjoyed by other workers. The 10th and last principle is no forced labour. Forced labour is illegal and against the rights and freedom of the people. Forced labour is forbidden. Nor should workers be forced to deposit their identity papers. The employer may only ask for copies of documents. Many issues were shown. Let's go over them again. We saw that it is very important to have freedom of association and the right to join a trade union. Everyone should be treated equally. The wage a worker receives should allow him or her to pay the basic family expenses. Working hours should not be excessive. Safe and healthy working conditions should be guaranteed. Pesticides and chemicals are dangerous and need to be handled with care. Employment should be secure. Protection of the environment is important for our and our children's lives. Child labour is forbidden. Forced labour is also not allowed. Flowers are beautiful. Let us work together towards an industry that is equally beautiful, with good social conditions for the workers and care for the environment.